This week's topic is the Age of Exploration. The first item on the list for the Age of Exploration is Portugal. Portugal is a small country in the Iberian Peninsula next to Spain. Its rulers funded exploration to Africa and then the rest of the world. There are three important Portuguese explorers that you should know about. Their names are Bartholomew Dias, Vasco da Gama, and Pedro Cabral. Bartholomew Dias became the first to sail around the southern tip of Africa, which is known as the Cape of Good Hope. Vasco da Gama reached India first by sailing around Africa and across the Indian Ocean. He reached the port of Calicut in India, where he loaded his ship full of cinnamon and pepper. Pedro Cabral was the first to reach modern-day Brazil. He claimed the land for Portugal. The second item on the list for the Age of Exploration is the Spanish explorers. The Spanish explorers of note are Christopher Columbus, Ferdinand Magellan, Hernan Cortes, and Francisco Pizarro. Columbus's voyage marked the beginning of Spain's Age of Exploration and revealed the existence of the Americas. Ferdinand Magellan was the first to circumnavigate the world. That means to go around the Earth completely. Unfortunately, Magellan died in the Philippines and never made it back home. Hernan Cortes conquered the Aztec civilization in modern-day Mexico. Cortes took Montezuma II, the Aztec emperor, hostage after he was welcomed with great honors. Francisco Pizarro conquered the Incan civilization in modern-day South America. Pizarro copied Cortes's strategy with the Incan ruler Atahualpa. The third term for the Age of Exploration are the English explorers. There were many other countries, such as the French and the Dutch, who also explored, but I will focus on the Portuguese, Spanish, and English. The Spanish and the Portuguese dominated the early years of exploration, but when the English defeated the Spanish Armada in 1555, things changed. Just like in modern sports, talented and ambitious people go where the money is. An athlete might play for one team, but then he is offered enough money he could get traded and go to another. This is what happened in the Age of Exploration with explorers. For example, the Italian sailor John Cabot sailed for England. Also, the Greek captain Juan de Fuca sailed for Spain and discovered many parts of the northwestern United States. Some key English explorers are John Cabot, Henry Hudson, and Sir Francis Drake. Cabot made England's first voyage of discovery and reached what is now eastern Canada. Henry Hudson was searching for the Northwest Passage to get from Europe to Asia. And Sir Francis Drake sailed around the world. He raided Spanish ports and ships. These raiders were known as sea dogs. Sir Francis Drake also claimed parts of California for England, even though Spain had claims to it. The fourth term for the Age of Exploration is exploration technology. Some of the technology that came out during the Age of Exploration, or improved on, are the following. The astrolabe and compass were tools of navigation, improved weapons, the caravel, which was a type of ship, and improved map-making skills. The science of map-making is known as cartography. Gerardus Mercator made maps with lines of latitude and longitude. Europeans also made globes and more accurate maps that showed the Americas. Caravels were ships that had special bottoms that allowed them to sail closer to the shore and up rivers. They also had a triangular lateen sail. This was something that they borrowed from the Muslims. They could sail regardless of the direction of the wind. Sailors also had improved navigational tools such as the compass and the astrolabe. Astrolabes helped navigators determine distance north and south, but not east and west. Cannons were used on ships and could be fired from shore. Guns, swords, and horses gave Europeans an advantage on land against native peoples. The last term on the list for the Age of Exploration is exploration motives. Some of the motives for exploration were the following: increased trade routes, spices, to break the control of Muslims and Italians on trade, to increase knowledge, to gain fame and glory, to conquer new lands, to spread Christianity, and to gain wealth. Trade routes needed to be secured to Asia, Africa, and the Americas because of the high demand for spices and other products. Western Europeans, such as the English, the Portuguese, and Spanish, wanted to break the hold Muslims and Italians had on trade routes because the supply chain was easily interrupted. Protestant and Catholic Christians wanted to spread their rival views of Christianity through missionaries. A remnant of this in California are the missions. For example, Mission San Juan Capistrano and Mission Santa Barbara. There are 21 missions set up in California between 1769 and 1833. Claiming lands was also important too. Portugal got Brazil, France much of Canada, England the eastern coast of the United States, Spain got South America and the western United States. Some of the exploration and colonization created unique cultural exchange. For example, did you know there is a Portuguese settlement in China? The city of Macau has Portuguese buildings in the downtown next to all the casinos. It's a fascinating blend of cultures. It's odd to see Portuguese churches and castles in the middle of a Chinese city. And that's the Peppy List for the Age of Exploration. Please leave comments and questions.